Thank you for listening to or watching the Upland Down Under Podcast. Tonight's show's recording live on Thursday, the 25th of January, Australia Day Eve at 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. On tonight's show, going to catch up on the Upland market floors, of course, check in on the neighbourhood ratings for January and complete a bit of a roll call, or perhaps it'll be a body count for the first round of Totems. Main topic I've got pinned for this week's show is, and it's gone. Attempting to unpack the psyche behind these latest editions of the temporary structure building opportunities that are on offer as part of Spark Week. We've also got a couple of QIPS on layer twos, and we'll take a look at another Upland community member spotlight, care of the Dynamic Node Builders team. All that and more, of course, on this, the Upland Down Under podcast. If you're wondering how you can take part, well, I drop the link to the Zoom every Thursday night about 6:45 p.m. AEST. Now, I've got a note here, note about laptop, and just as I was about to read that, what do you know? Lappy's frozen up. So if you've been following the long saga of me and my laptops, well, the other day I went to use my laptop and I pulled it out of its little storage thing it's in, and my screen had totally buckled and was popped out like a big pimple it was. So previously, I had the screen held together from delaminating with about 3 bulldog clips. Now I've got about 15 on them. So I do have to go laptop shopping this weekend, which I'm not really looking forward to, but I did manage to pull some funds out of the old Upland, which is going to help immensely. Now, as I said that, I've lost my cursor as well. It's all happening with my laptop. I did originally think the other day when I was recording the Blockland Beat podcast, I thought because where it's delaminated and bubbled was right where the webcam is, and I went to record that podcast and I thought, oh geez, it's broken that. But I was just sitting down before and realized, no, I just had one of the bulldog clips over its eyeball. So I'm not having a very good run here, so we'll see how we go. We'll try and bumble through it, assuming that I have definitely lost my cursor, so I'm going to have to try and do this with the touch screen. So we'll see how we go. Let's take a look at the Breaking Badly news and see what's happening in the Upland markets. Is that going to work? Oh, I can do it with the touchscreen. There you go. There might be hope yet. So what do we got here? I didn't really have a close look at this myself. Thanks again, Swally, for patching through the numbers. He was in a bit of a rush as well. So some of these, he said, won't be 100% accurate. He did go through and check the usual suspects that have locked properties and whatnot on the floors. So see how we go. What do we got for 90-day averages? Still dropping on the transactions volume, tiny little boost on the trading volume, which makes sense with Tokyo expansion. Unique active wallets, look at that, down 900 and what is it, 95,770%. Clearly I forgot to put a space in there. So it was last week 49,920. This week is supposed to be 52,000 and something. Obviously I balls that up in my rush. Total unminted properties, we're still over 301,000. That includes, after Tokyo City expansion, we still have 2,240 properties left from that. It'll take probably take until next week to get that all sorted out properly. See how we go with collection reveal in the morning. What's happening in the markets? Bakersfield up again on both the UPX and the USD, almost a 10 and then a 13% jump respectively. Berlin up 14% on the UPX, was just over 19,000 last week, now pushing towards 22,000. That's pretty healthy. Buenos Aires up on both a little bit. Dallas, on the other hand, down 10% on the UPX and down almost 20% on the USD, was $6.20 last week, down to $5 this week. Detroit's had a boost on the UPX, pushing back towards the 5,000, still very much locked on that $3 floor, and everything else is a bit all over the place. LA pumped back to the $3 floor. I put a few up there myself. I think it was over $3, I think, or maybe it was $3. So there's a bit of action going on there. Miami, where's that at these days? Just under 13,000 UPX and dropped 12% from $5.70 last week to $5 this week, and falling by the looks of it. Porto's also, it was up and off that $3 floor, but it's pushing back down to that, 15% down over the week. And what's that? Rutherford's on the flip side. Rutherford's up almost 30% on the USD. Was $17 last week, now $22. Sao Paulo's, it's 17% down on the UPX, flat on the USD, of course, locked at $3 floor. And look at that, Tokyo down 30, almost 40% on the UPX. Makes sense because as soon as you get a swag more properties available in the city to mint that, of course, that's going to drop the floor. So yes, 23,888 UPX last week, now down to 14,599, and relatively speaking, pretty similar with the USD. Was just under $10 last week, down over 32% to $6.78, and probably fall a bit more if we see collection reveal. What is it? I think collection reveals at a few hours from now, isn't it? That's 2 or 3 a.m. my time. I will be getting up for that because I have 4.7 million UpX burning a hole in my wallet that I have been stacking specifically for collection reveal. My plans for that is just to see what's available. If there's a nice neighborhood collection there and there's not any mad rush panic to go over and mint some up, I'll do that. Certainly not going to look into FOMOing into secondaries if it's street collections or whatever. So just have to play it by ear. Hopefully there's a nice exclusive collection there. 4.7 million. If it's a 3 collection set, I'll have a bit over 1.5 per property. So those usually don't tend to get gobbled up very fast. And I need to get that to get my dividends back because I've hit a bit of a personal milestone that I've been aiming for quite a while. And I'm finally now under 3,000 properties. So if you've been following along, that's something I've been working on for a while. I managed to sell a whole bunch just recently. So thank you to everybody who picked up a property of mine. And good luck if you got out there and you speculated on the collections, good luck to you. And if you're going to try and stay up or get up like I am to try and gobble something up, good luck to you as well. All right, let's see if the touchscreen will keep working. We'll move over to neighborhood ratings and see what we got going on here. Now, it's going to slow everything down as I try and do this on the touch, but where are we at? Red Hook, well and truly out in front, score of 13.324. Merced Manors trying to make an effort, but that's going to be, I think, this late in the game is going to be pretty hard to take this month off Red Hook unless Merced Manor pulls something out of the bag. Speaking of sales, I did help to boost the Red Hook score a little bit. I ended up selling all of my Red Hooks. As far as I know, I've sold them all. So leading up to that, so thank you for that as well. What else have we got? Smidton there's going nowhere. Of course, Quailwood still stuck there. And then all the regulars. Doesn't appear to be any new names popping up there. Lake Wacomas in the mix at number 18. I just started one of my builds in Lake Wacomas. I'll get that built and I've got 2 more to do. And we'll see. Projecting forward to next month, assuming Red Hooks takes this one out, you'd have to say, what do we got? Merced Manor, and then quite a significant drop back to Quailwood. So unless Praia de Bandera or Sherwood Forest or somebody's got something up their sleeve, might be a bit of a race between Merced and Quailwood. Although I think Quailwood might be at the limit of what they can do there, just like Midtown Terrace is. So you're kind of at the mercy of whatever's going to happen is going to happen. So let me jump out of there. And I'm going to try something which might just fix my cursor situation, or it might totally crash and burn the Zoom. We'll see. I've got my laptop is a 2-in-1 with a detachable screen. Sometimes that works. No, won't even let me detach the screen. So yes, definitely going laptop shopping over the weekend. Where were we at? Let's get out of there. And Laban, I don't know why. Oh, why the camera's stuck on you. I'm assuming I'm not on mute and people can hear me. Be a bit weird if it's not. Speaking to myself. All right, we'll bumble on. Let's see. Let me go back to my notes. So that's the neighborhood ratings. I've got next on the list is Totems. Now, what are we up to speed with Totems? I've only got one totem, and Buellerman last week was outlining the very awesome site that he put up there to be helping out to set up your feeding and all the rest of it. I did manage to get over to that and kind of set that up a bit better. And my poor old red wolf, that's on 30 hours feed. It doesn't get fed every single 30 hours. I'm not going to get up at midnight to set an alarm to get it up. So sometimes I'll wake up at 1:30 or 2:00 or something to go to the toilet, or sometimes I think it's been as late as 4:30 when I get up to start my morning routine. I'll just feed it then. Even with all of that kind of pretty dodgy, not optimized feeding regime, I've still managed to claw my way back to a 92.3% spend score, which is looking pretty good. And I did get very close to starvation point. I think I might have had, it's a bit different because I got 2 totems worth of airdrop feeding 1 totem. So I think I got down into the low 600s, which meant I would have only had 1 more feed left before, technically that poor old wolf would have been, that's it, starved, you're done. But yesterday when I collected dividends, I was actually at 66 with raw reward, I believe, and I'm only feeding at 55. So it does seem to have turned a corner on that one. So I have to wait and see. And we still got plenty of days left in that one. So yeah, I don't know if harsh is the right word, but we have been a bit cautious, scared whether this was all going to be worth the time and effort and energy to do all of this sort of stuff. A lot of people balked at, the very slow kickoff rate. Upland did tell us it was going to kick off like that with all of the different graphs and whatnot. So I don't know. Seems like we might all end up pretty good in the end. And of course, this is only the first run at it. Next run, everyone will be far more on the ball and probably be able to make much better use of the protem they're putting in to maximize the protem they're going to get out. So yeah, I still feel for people that are juggling dozens and dozens of these things. I certainly wouldn't like to do it. Not unhappy that I sold mine. Oh gosh, I just pressed the wrong thing there. All right, what do we got? I'm going to race through this one very quickly tonight, of course, because I said, my laptop's literally being held together by bulldog clips and hopes and dreams. So I pegged them. There's not a lot going on at the moment, of course, with Upland, although there's totems, there's collection reveal and whatnot. Outside of that, I sat down the other night and thought, well, what am I going to focus this week's show on? I like to have some kind of main topic theme for it. And I thought, I think it was the other morning, there was a bit of a debate going backwards and forwards in Upland General, myself included, and we were debating, these temporary building structures that have been a part of Spark Week. Well, what's the actual purpose behind that? What's the psyche, as I said in the notes? As always, I've got my own very biased opinion on it all, but let's have a look at what we're even talking about, assuming touchscreen's still going to work. There we go. So good to see Spark Week back, although it seems a bit disappointing that it doesn't appear that there is a level up associated with that, or is there? Did I miss that? Spark Week, Spark Sale?
Yeah, there is.
There is.
There's
okay.
still a level up. There's just they've just excluded from since ever now. The hunting is still not coming back. So
Yeah.
they've done so with Free Spark, or with hunting for Free Spark.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So yes, what do we got? We got a unique structure that these are only available for 24 hours or something. Queens has got one, Dallas, Nashville, and then they're going to roll out, I would assume, in all the different ones and that. Thoughts, suggestions on this? Personally, again, this is my own very biased personal opinion. Straight off the bat, I'd say these structures are, maybe that one's okay. The Queens one looks pretty good. That looks like, I would assume that's something that's very Queens-esque. Maybe the Dallas one is as well. They didn't seem as fancy as some of the other ones they've done in Miami and whatnot, but yeah, okay. They're pretty cool. Nashville. Gosh, I'm all over the place with this. Maybe I should stop dicking around with it. So yeah, they look pretty cool. You've got a limited amount of time to start building them, and then the way you go. So the thoughts being that these are going to have some, increased value further down the road because of limited supply, yada, yada, yada. But I went back and thought, is that true? So I went and had a look before we kicked off. Having a look at Miami and the building they did there, the exclusive building they did there is a bit of a use case. So currently in Miami, you can buy, there's over 20 of those buildings under mint in both USD and UPX, some of them going for as low as 44% of mint. So I personally don't see that these kind of limited exclusive things are going to hold any real long-term value. Part of the debate that we were having backwards and forwards, or I guess it wasn't really a debate, we were just putting our opinions out there, is that something like this, I think the system is a good idea. It's probably just poorly implemented. Like it just seems pure FOMO based. I mentioned that I actually went back and demolished all of the Miami structures I had put up to build. Somebody else said they did similar, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see if that happens again. I think something like this kind of system would be an awesome addition to having some kind of dividend boost as part of your regular building structures up. Okay, so we know for the longest time there was always talk about a rental system. That's why we have so many people can live in each different structure type, residence per property or whatever it is. That was part of it. It does seem like that they poo-pooed that idea entirely. I think it was Morchie's brought that up as a question in Genesis Week 2 years ago, and nobody wanted to answer the question then, and nothing's been said about it since. So that was the rental system. I still, for the life of me, I just cannot understand why they don't implement some kind of dividend boost to putting a property up, a structure up. And then, of course, if you have something like these temporary exclusive buildings, well, then perhaps that's, instead of it just being a standard collection or whatever you want to do, a standard boost, well, maybe these special ones hold a slightly more advantageous boost. Or if you do certain combinations, you unlock different collections. I mean, there's so many ways that this could be gamified to give it real value. Outside of that, I personally, unless you really, really loved that particular structure type, or if you had I guess it doesn't look like those ones there were very skinny, but if you had one of the skinny plots where the existing buildings wouldn't fit it, maybe that would be worth putting it on. Outside of that, I don't personally really see what the point is. Anybody else want to chime in? Brabant, did you have any take on that yourself? No, I'm just throwing you out on the spotlight there. So yeah, I don't know. I like the idea.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, sorry,
man. Hi.
Hi, buddy.
I think it's something to create demand for Spark, because I sat there in Tokyo with my properties and thought, okay, hey, I can build the bigger townhouse which was activated for the time, and I thought, okay, if I put 100 builds up, I've simply not enough Spark for it. Just to start them. To finish them in about 400 days or something, that's the next topic. But I think maybe some people are going to buy Spark from the store because they think, oh, I want to have one of these buildings or two, and I need a bit more Spark. It's only 0.1 Spark, I need more, and Upland, ka-ching, earned dollars. Yep. And okay, if you take a look at Abdullah or all these big Spark holders, they can't use all their Spark because they have to wait 3 minutes after each build. You know this problem.
Yes, too well.
Yeah, and I think there's a bit creating demand for Spark, and also increase the value, because if I have all my personal Spark staked in my own buildings, even if it's the minimum, I can't rent my Spark to some other people. So yes, maybe others will pay more to get Spark because the supply is changing. Maybe something in this Even if here Dirk is an economist, doctor of physics, whatever.
Yes.
Maybe there's some thoughts in this direction to create demand for Spark, to say, hey, and now you can buy your Spark not from us, but go to exchange XYZ and buy your Sparklet with your crypto to boost all this here. Maybe there's a long-term strategy behind it. Or maybe it is just, oh, let's create FOMO and get the chickens run in the game to build as much as possible.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
as usual, the problem is the footprint of the Queen's building is
Yes.
longer than most of my Queen's properties.
Yep.
Okay, there are 7. But at some, there's too much space in front and in the backyard of the building where I say, hey, there is nothing from the building. Why not smaller the footprint so that can fit to this property? And also every property, it says, oh, it won't fit. And then you turn the property
Then it
by
works,
1
yeah.
degree and ta-da, green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I just actually, I said I started building a Lakewood Comas property. Well, before I did that, I went over to the financial district in San Francisco and went to put up another Lily Tower. And that's a classic example too. The footprint on the front and the back of that is just extraordinary. So even though I have massive property in San Francisco for the financial district, it still won't fit that. So very frustrating. But yes, I think your point there is right. I mean, obviously, this sort of system, making it, an exclusive, there's only 24 hours, get it now or it's gone. That's definitely not going to make demand for Spark less. So it's going to have some kind of, boost to the people wanting to get Spark, sure. But I still maintain nothing at all would increase the value of Spark or the demand for Spark like putting a dividend boost on, completing a structure. Nothing would come close to that. Maybe as a secondary, if you could third-party stake on other people's factories and things like that, that might help boost it. But I think people would just make use of what they have. I think the really big boost that would come was from, giving people a financial incentive, and that rewards everybody. You're not just rewarding MetaVenture owners there or people that can, do that sort of stuff or people that can run layer 2s. That would reward every single player in the game that if you put a little bit of work in, if you manage to grind some Spark out via treasure hunting, or if you dip your hand in your pocket and you buy some Spark, well, you have the potential to increase your earnings by completing structures. I'm 5 years into playing this game, and I just can't fathom why that wouldn't be a reason, or what the reason possibly would be, or why they haven't approached that. Yeah.
Or they need to put something in where you burn your Spark for something.
Yeah, to make it really
I
worthwhile.
just got a heartache if you said, okay, if you want to race, you have to burn your Spark to fuel your car. Then I would overthink my racing enjoyment, because my Spark balance will get low. But then you create value for Spark.
Yes.
Now it's I just set up a build and it's finished. And hey, next. Hey, next.
Yep.
Oh, I can rent my Spark. 5 UPIX per Spark hour. Way, I'm gonna be rich in thousands of years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a good point too. We do know there are other aspects of the Spark economy that are going to come on board at some stage. This year, based on what they've been saying as far as movement and whatnot, but potentially a car only city release and stuff. So, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but the Upland problem is it will come, but it will take time,
Yeah.
and we are not very patient. I learned to be more patient in everything Upland related, but in the internet, if you wait a year, it's felt like a lifetime.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, well, yeah, I don't know. I think I've been pretty patient. As I said, I'm in my 5th year of playing, so I'm still hanging around in there. So I haven't given up on it yet, but I do whine and carry on. But it's always looking ahead to try and hopefully improve things and whatnot, not bashing stuff just for the sake of bashing it. You don't get anywhere.
There are many other players who I think left the game because nothing happens.
Yeah. Or
And if you
something
are only
happens that
own
they don't
2
like.
properties and get 1 UPX yield per day, then you leave the game. You leave the app because you have nothing what you can do in the game.
Well, that might be a good segue over to our quips because we got a couple on layer 2. So we'll dive into that now. If you have an Upland related question, insight, provocation, or statement that we could dive into on the weekly Upland Down Under podcast, then there's a link to the quips Google form in the description. And if you include your in-game name in your submission and it's used on the show, you win yourself some kind of prize too this week. Well, this week we've got 2.5 quips all about layer 2. That'll make a bit more sense as we get on. So first up, we got Hot Corner. And Hot Corner says, I'm getting concerned that the layer 2 games can't seem to hold their momentum and grow. I'm still playing Upland Kingdoms, but it has been forever since I made any UPX through the game. I really like Spark Tycoon, but the market seems to be collapsing with energy falling under 300 UPX. I couldn't even get the hang of Uplandia, and shooting games don't really interest me. I'm still hopeful, especially for Spark Tycoon. These layer 2 opportunities remind me a lot of crypto DeFi, faucets and ICOs. Early participants make the money, but the stragglers just give liquidity to the first in. How do you feel about the layer 2 environment? So how do I personally feel about the layer 2 environment? I don't touch, pretty much I don't do anything in layer 2 at present because it's not mobile friendly. I still think it's kind of almost disingenuous to spruik the Upland app as a Metaverse super app where if I want to do anything on my phone with it, I got to have all of these other different accounts. I got to open up all these different web pages on Safari on my phone, and it's a lot of it doesn't work. A lot of it's severely lagged. It needs heavy optimization. It's clunky. It's messy. It's confusing. So pretty much I just don't even bother myself. I do know there's plenty of people. I was talking to Bokia this morning, and he was saying he's making quite some healthy UPX with, I believe, the Spark Tycoon. So there is plenty of opportunities out there. It's just, yeah, I'm a mobile player. If I can't do something quickly, easily, intuitively in the app on my phone, it's just not going to get done, basically. I don't know. Anybody else want to chime in on that? Layer 2s?
Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed he doesn't try BE battle from me.
Yes. Well, the minigames is a good point. Yeah, speak to that.
Yes, yeah, the problem with Upland Kingdoms is the Grom is, or Hornbrod is not reachable. He doesn't answer in his own Discord channel. I hope he's only busy and not disappeared from this world. Maybe it could happen, maybe. But yeah, the game started good. Or for me personally, I think I made 10, 15, 20k UPX, so not as much as other players, but hey, I get some profit. But now it's dead for me. It's all this log in, chop wood, build soldiers, fan to fight, next day, again. So there's no new content to play with. The same as Spark Tycoon. I treasure hunt a bit. I get some of these resources. I can sell them. I can make a few UPX, cash them out with 15% fees. Or for me personally, I sold all my resources and just put all the dev shops for BE battle with the Spark Exchange UPX I grinded from treasure hunting. But there's nothing I can do with the lumber, the ore, the energy. I just can sell them on the market or build more nodes who produce more, which then I can sell. And I think they are working on functionality. Their roadmap, the updates in the last days. There will be some more, but it's the same question as Upland. When? Not if there comes something, there will become. I know Chris and all these people working with the Spark Exchange and the Spark Tycoon, but they are a bit overwhelmed of the success of the mass of people jumping in and doing treasure hunts or just doing their 80 cents a day to get the resources, because you can sell them for more than the cents will cost if you make them in Bakersfield. You pay 400 UPIX and get what about 2, 3, 4K out of it? So you earn money, but this will only work as long as there are enough people who are willing to buy these resources. And now, and that is perhaps why he's complaining about the driving down of all the prices, because there is no use for it. It's the same like Spark and buildings in Upland. They are nice, but for what?
Yeah.
And I think if they are smart enough to deliver some content from time to time, and that's the same I try to get for the BE battle. I just can say, hey, it runs and finished. No, let it run and get the few UPIX out. I'm not going to be rich from the BE battle, but I want to deliver some new functions from time to time, and to get players back or to get new players in. I think that it's hard because you don't have such a high base that you get a revenue from it. I think I earn about 50 to 100 UPIX a day from the e-battle. So I earn nothing. This is if I get a cent or 2 cents in LA, I earned more than in the whole game from a day. Wow. So it's a bit, it's hard to keep it going, but I think if there is some use and somebody will play it, we will get it. And it's with all the mini games. I just take a look at all, not diving too deep into all of them. But hey, it's a nice people, nice ideas, and I hope they keep their enthusiasm to develop them further and not just keep them running for the month to get the second half of the million UPIX and then disappear to nowhere.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's kind of a good point to make too. I think a lot of these other ones, the big layer 2s, they're still in the very early foundationary stage, so there's a lot to work on. But yeah, and I actually like those kind of grindy games. I play several kind of idle clicker games on my phone, but it's just that whole clunky process to get into all these things. It just kind of cuts me out from the get-go. So I don't even get to the point where I can get bored of it because it's just roadblocked from the start. So
yeah, it would be nice if Upland could provide us as developers some sort of better integration. I can connect with this code, and then I can use or trigger escrow with your confirmation, and so but I can't use the Upland user account as some site of authentication on my end. I just see it on this memory game from Sunny Minded. If you click on his dev shop, you get your internal Upland ID as a parameter in the link, so he can identify you. But I'm a developer. I see this link, so I can just manipulate it and say not I'm me, but hey, here's Ben starting this game. And that there must be some sort of, if we get some of this stuff like the Google Aaaand, or the Aaaand 2 or something like this to say, okay, I log in with my Upland app, I click on the dev shop, I get delivered to a web page or to another app like this racing is working, and I'm authenticated in it. I think this will reach a bit more players, because I fully understand, a new app and a new account, and again, my email address and the new password, and this is it's hard, but I know the devs at Upland and Carlos, who is very good contact from them to talk about with all what's with dev shops and the APIs, and so I think they are a bit short of developers for this section of their business. They are developing new functions, and Sparklet, which is surely the #1 project they're working on to get us going.
For sure.
But yeah, maybe they should focus a bit more to the layer 2, but maybe this minigame challenge was just a test balloon to check if there are enough developer beside Spark Exchange and Uplandia and all these big connections working before. If it creates value and they could afford a new developer for this type.
Almost like a sly job interview kind of situation. Yeah. We'll have to wait and see. I still think, like, to start calling yourself a super app, and the more you do is pushing outside of the app, it just seems counterintuitive to me.
Well, for me, it's okay if they say, hey, we deliver the foundation for all this.
Yep.
With the tools for others to connect. So then I would say, okay, you are the foundation. Like, maybe I can use my Google or my Facebook account in 500 million handy apps to log in and save my progress and all.
Yep.
It's okay. So Facebook delivers the infrastructure for it, and another developer develops the game or another part. But it must be connectable, easy connectable for the end user, and not
that's the thing. Yep.
not all the tech nerds.
Yep.
Who say, hey, no problem, new account, new trash email to not offer my real email address or something like this.
Yes.
As I see as a developer of BA Battle, the email addresses the people use, there are some who use trash email addresses because they say, hey, I need them only for the activation key, and if I lost my password, hey, I know Boilerman on Discord, then I write them there.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes.
I think we are in early stage of development.
Another
part where we are in the early stage.
Yes, but it's an important point. Like every step that gets put in place between the layer 1 app and then actually reaching, like, okay, now press play or now do whatever you want to do. Every step that's in there, you're going to lose a significant percentage of the play base every step you go, to where by the time you get to the end of it, the people that have jumped through all the hoops and done everything, it's going to be a tiny fraction of percentage of the people who first kind of took a look at these things.
Yeah, or it would be nice if I could say, hey, what about using some sort of in-app browsing? Like if you press the dev shop, they start an in-game browser to get it a bit sandbox style, to not leave the app at all.
Yes.
So I can just press back and I'm back in the app. Or maybe they can add a button. There are so many possibilities, and I don't think that they don't get them on their lists, but
one day.
Yes, soon.
Or no,
eventually.
not soon. Eventually, yeah, that's the one. All right, good question, Hot Corner. As a bit of an extension to that theme, Kushal089 asks, or says, I've been playing Spark Tycoon and I've been wondering how they're giving out so much UpX. Are they literally paying out of their own pockets? What could be their business plan? Or is it a marketing tool to get people to use the Spark Exchange? So that was the original one. And this is where I said we had 2.5 QIPS, because Kushal followed up soon after and said, about my previous question, I just realized that it's the people who are buying the resources from us and not the UpX Spark Exchange. He goes on to say, it's just wild to see people spending so much UpX to acquire these resources. People are really invested in the game. Upland will be on another level if we have 15 to 20 solid layer 2 games like Spark Tycoon. This game single-handedly revived treasure hunting in Upland. So there's your glass half full approach. to look at things as well. So good on you, Kushal. So thank you for that, Hot Corner and Kushal. You've both won yourselves 10,000 UPX after fees. And remember that if you do submit a QIPS yourself and you want to claim a prize just like they did, so you have to include your in-game name in your submission. And that's, as we're starting to wrap up, that takes us over to the dynamic node builders, getting to know community members. In this week's Getting to Know Community Members segment, care of Mesme, and as I said, the other members of the dynamic node builders, they're featuring, now this name, holy moly, this is a doozy. Let me see if I can do this one. Billy Kvitok. I'm sorry, that's a name that I no doubt butchered, and apologies for that. But for a bit of extra context before we take a look at her responses to the DMB questionnaire, Bill Kvitok is currently a director with a net worth at a bit over 11 million UPX. So it must be hovering over that upgrade to executive button. Isn't that's 10 million, isn't it? So ready to go. It's got 288 properties and a bit over 5.5 Spark. Home residence is in the Quailwood node of Bakersfield. And assuming I can press these buttons, let's check out her DMB interview responses. Bear with me again on the hokey pokey. I'm poking this screen. The whole bloody thing is liable to just fall off in my lap. So there we go. Stay still, screen. There we go. So yes, I don't know. Anybody want to have a go at saying that name? Bill Kivitok? Apologies. So, would you survive the zombie apocalypse? No. Guilty pleasure, chocolate, tattoos? No. Bucket list? Go to Genesis Week. That's a good one. Been to Vegas? No. If you could start a charity, what would it be? Promoting practical sustainability. I would assume that's supposed to say. Most common internet search history. Vegan recipes. One thing you will never do again. Swim in the ocean. Oh, interesting. Must be a story there. Occupation, project manager. 3 Uplanders you chat with regularly. Rodrigo, Minhaj Nasir, apologies, Crown Handler, I would assume that's supposed to say. And famous fact about where you live, Harry Potter was partly filmed here. Harry Potter. Not into that myself. I don't know where that was, where that was filmed. No idea, sorry. So let me go back to this one. So thank you for that. If you would like to get yourself involved, or you know of somebody who the community or yourself might be interested in learning a bit more about, then send Mesme or any of the other Dynamic Node Builders members a DM. Racing through some last bits and pieces. Little bit of Samurai Aquatics news. I have one more showroom to inaugurate, which finishes in about 2 weeks, I think. And then that will be at one showroom in every city that's currently available in Upland. Shout out, thank you very much to Brabant, who's helped out with some of that stuff along the way, Swali, and of course, Bocchio, who jumped in with a big chunk of help there. So that's been quite the journey. I've been completely burnt out with moving decor. I haven't done any of that for a couple of weeks, partly because of all the crap I've been dealing with in real life. I do need to pull my finger out and get that done, because I have all these showrooms all over the place now that I got to stock and open and get up and running. And of course, that will, once that's fully done, it will make what we're doing next, the competitions and whatnot, it'll make that so much more easier. And I did see in Upland General this afternoon, somebody mentioned that they wanted to buy a blue mailbox or something, but the thought of having to fly to some other city miles away to try and get it didn't appeal to them, so they were just going to skip it. So yeah, that's pretty much one of the main reasons why I decided to make this push. So, you know, if you win a prize or if you want something, I should be able to cover that no matter where you are. It'll just be as easy as reserving it for you in the showroom in the city you are located. All right, moving on to the weekly challenges. Last week's challenge was all about the first Tokyo expansion. Will or did you stay at home, or did you go and get minty? Bit of a mixed bag there. Lots of people like myself took the numbers that Upland put out as far as the minimums and maximums that were going to be available, the prices. They took those at face value and decided to not go. As I said, I was one of those. And then lo and behold, what do you know? Then they're not actually min and max. There's some kind of bizarre combination of averages of min and maxes. I don't know. I think that was just a complete balls up myself. Hopefully they'll fix that up for the next one. Anyhow, thank you for everybody who got involved, and their names are going to roll to win 10,000 UPX after fees. I'm assuming this is going to work. It might work for this one. I don't think we'll be able to do it for the live participants one, but we'll see how we go. Pokey. Here we go. What's this? Go away, Zoom. All right. I think I should be able to just poke this and it should roll. Yes, there we go. We're in luck. Alrighty, 10,000 UPX after fees for the weekly challenge goes to Finsky. I believe it has it. Finsky, congratulations, Finsky. And I believe Finsky sat that one out. Now, normally at this stage, I would go in and I'd take those names out and I'd put in the live participant names and I'd roll the wheel to give a piece of Samurai Aquatics decor, but I'm not going to try and do that with my falling apart laptop. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people in for the live show. How about I'll just give everybody 5,000 UPX after fees. That'll do that one. Not much, but a little bit of a boost there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And yeah, laptop shopping over the weekend. Hopefully I'll have something up and running. That will be a bit better to handle next week. So that was last week's challenge. This week's challenge, of course, you need to get yourself into the contest channel in the NBA server and let us know, what do you think about these temporary structure building opportunities? Did you put some up? Did you not even bother? Why not? Let us know. And again, your name will roll on a list of all of the entrants for a chance to win 10,000 UPX after fees. And of course, you'll get yourself yet another entry into the 2024 end of year giveaways prize draws. There's plenty of people who've stacked up every single entry possible to date. Thank you for that. So that brings us up to the end. We managed to get there. The laptop's held in, assuming it all goes well with the upload. I might be able to drop this laptop off the top of the roof and set it on fire and be done with it. Although it has served me well. I think my wife reminded me the other day when I was blowing up about it that I've had this laptop for 9 years, which is not too bad for an old lappy. Anyhow, a reminder that if you are in a time zone that fits in with the Thursday night recording schedule of starting at 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and you'd like to get involved, it's very easy to do so. The link to the weekly Zoom is always dropped in the NBA server about 15 minutes before I kick off the show. And that invitation extends to any of the other podcast productions I do. So if you have an Upland, NFT, or Metaverse product, service, or event to promote, or you just want to have a gas bag about things, then send me, Ben68, a DM to get yourself involved. You can jump in the NBA server as well and give me a tingle on there. And it's free, so not looking to make any bucks on this, just happy to get the word out for all of the various things that people have got going on. And that's, my friends, that'll do us for this week. Let me see if I can hokey pokey my way out of here. All right. Thank you very much. Have a good week. Like I said, if you are getting up or staying up for the Tokyo collection reveal, all the best for that. I'll be doing so myself, and I'll probably, if I'm going to be up for a while, I might jump on the NBA server and keep a bit of a record, or do a bit of show and tell, see if I get anything good. All right. Have a great week, and we'll catch you later.